Welcome to East Tennessee Pinball. Today I got this Pirates of the Caribbean Stern version. Pretty nice game. Somebody's done a really nice job, like kind of a two-tone powder coat on it, kind of antique-y looking. I think it's pretty awesome looking. Anyway, the main complaint is the Tortuga multi-ball wasn't working, and I got that figured out real quick. I mean, the guy was in here dropping it off, and there is. Let me just turn the game on real quick. Then you can see, you see that red light back in there. There's an opto from this side here to the other side. So like a laser beam, when the ball goes down in there, breaks that laser beam or opto, and the game knows that the ball has passed through there. So anyway, I put it in switch test. I'll do it here real quick. So I've got the switch test on, and if I stick my finger in there, see, it's registering. It wasn't before. And so the guy was telling me you could send the ball up here and go into the whirlpool, and you hit these little targets, all these, as the ball spins around, and you basically, these lights turn on. When you get all the way to the end, the ball will drain out, and then this shot is lit to start a multi-ball, but it wouldn't ever register it. So anyway, I was looking underneath there. Ball's probably going to fall. Maybe not. Okay. That opto is plugged into this board right here. And fortunately, all these cables here, they're all labeled. Like that one says connect to J2 on board 1. And that one was connected to J2 on board 1. But this one here, which is J4, and that one there, which is, I think that one's J1, they were swapped. So this Tortuga multi-ball opto was swapped with some other opto. I don't even know which one it is. So maybe if you'd hit that other opto, it would have started Tortuga multi-ball. I don't know. But anyway, I swapped those two connectors and boom, that's working. So that's kind of cool. Another issue that the guy was having, let me set this down and I'll get back. So the other issue, he's got this cosmetic little cannon thing that sits right there. I took it off. But anyway, so he says the ball launch was hitting it. So I took it off, and what's really hitting is this frame, and it shouldn't hit it. I mean, the ball should be underneath there. But what's happening is with the auto launch, it's just bouncing around and it's popping up and hitting the bottom of that. So the reason, so you hit it. So if I pull the plunger back, it's fine. So when the plunge, let me turn the game off so it won't do it again. Got the ball. Just a little nuance thing. If you could see down in there, when the plunger is in there, I'm exaggerating it. It basically pushes that ball forward a little bit in front of the two little prongs that pop up like that. See those two little metal pieces? That's the auto plunger. But when the plunger isn't in there, the ball sits firmly up against it and it fires properly. So I think the solution is I'm going to replace this spring so that it sits up it doesn't need much, just like another 1/10 of an inch out further. Now I think that's going to solve the problem. I think that's all it is that ball is not sitting in there quite right. And I might need to move that a little bit, but it's just an alignment of kicking that ball. And it's popping it up and hitting that. So that's pretty straightforward. So I haven't actually fixed that, but I've got it diagnosed, and so that's 90% of it on stuff like that. Well, I say 90%, 83.25%. That's what I say. I've got to the shaker motor. That's other. I'm gonna put some new rubbers on this game. It's pretty boring stuff. Now you probably could do that. Shaker motor doesn't work. Don't know why. I'm not even sure that it's turned on in the menu. I looked in the menu. I couldn't find it in the menu. So I'm gonna have to do some digging and figure out. There is a little board right there that drives it. So I'm gonna get into the manual and figure out how to do that. So I thought for sure that there was a menu item to turn that on or change how frequently the the shaker motor runs, but I went through I can't find it. Either I'm missing it or it's not there. Maybe I should see what version of the ROM. 1.06. I'm not sure if that's the newest one or not. May or may not be. So maybe he's got an old ROM, doesn't have the driver board in it, or the shaker motor code in it. I don't know. Once I figure that out, I'll get back to you and we'll see if I can figure it out. I'm guessing maybe it's just not turning on. I don't know. Well, I got the plate filled up, and the shaker motor, these wires coming into it, they're not attached to anything. So there's a red one with a connector, and then there's a brown one with a connector, and neither one are plugged in anything. I don't see anything down here for them to plug it that's loose to plug into. So I don't know. Maybe somebody's got it, I don't know, partially installed, or I guess I could try to find the manual for this, because this is like one of these add-on shaker motors. I'm sure there's some instructions somewhere for it. I think they're supposed to be fairly plug and play. Have to, again, dig around a little bit more. So I figured out why I couldn't find a harness down here. It doesn't exist. This game doesn't have the code to run a shaker motor. Not to say people haven't put them in there before. Well, somebody put this one in here, but I don't believe, I talked to the owner of the game. He bought this game from somebody else that had done all these mods, and I don't believe this game has ever had this shaker motor finally installed. So they mounted it. They mounted that board, but this stuff was never wired up. There's no harness for it. So people have put in a finalized one, but you basically have to supply power and a ground, and then you have to rig up a system using like a flasher or something so it gives a signal for this thing to turn off and on. And I'm not sure this is the type of board that you can do it. There was a pinshaker.com that had one. It was a universal board and so I think it had basically had to have an extra set, because I think this is just power and ground right here. So this one would need to be plugged into the driver board, have the software basically cycling the ground on and off so that this thing would work. I think there's another one that had continuous power, and then within it had its own little relay or transistor that was using the signal. So you basically hook a couple leads up to a flasher or something. When the flasher goes off, this thing would internally trigger and run it. But that's a different model. I don't believe it's this one. And so I don't think this is going to work in this game. Anyway, I just talked to the owner. I don't think I'm going to mess with this anymore. The shaker motor, that is. So I guess I'll dig into the ball launcher. Maybe adjust it a little bit. Not really much adjustment up here. But I think I'll start with just putting a new barrel spring on there. That may be all it needs. So not only is this thing tired out, it's ugly. So I put a nice shiny one. I'm gonna polish this thing up while I'm at it. It's such a pretty game. It's a nice shooter rod. So I put a new barrel spring on there, clean that up. Looks a lot better, but that didn't fix the problem. And I see that it's more clear. I also put a new plunger tip on there, but the issue is the plunger tip is dragging on that side, that plate there. So when it's up there, it's messing up the function of the auto plunger. So I can see the plunger is not centered. So it needs to move this way a little bit. The downside of doing that, as soon as I move this over a little bit, there's probably going to be a line, because, invariably it's going to look a little bit different underneath there to move that over. And it's not that the rod is bent or anything. It's either at a slight angle or it's just too far to the left. So either that, I could try to adjust these two plates, but really it is the plunger that's crooked. It's not the two strike plates. The plunger is the one that's off-centered, so I'll have to loosen that up and see if I can adjust it. All right, I got that centered up a little bit better. Put that in there. Shoots up just fine. Before it was just janking around, wouldn't do it. So That's good. So I just rebuilt the plungers, or the flippers, sorry. These links were a little bit messy. Actually, there wasn't much slop here. There was slop between here and the flipper pawl. Yeah, you see the threads get mashed down. Well, you can tell, but there's a little metal bushing that rides on there, and fortunately they just put threaded bolts instead of shouldered bolts, and this one's really mashed down. You can see there, and that aggravates the amount of slop in there. The coil stops recessed a little bit. These weren't awful. If it was a game I had on route, I probably wouldn't swap them out yet, but guy had them here and he said just go ahead and swap it. So that's why I swapped it. They'll be nice and fresh. Put new flipper bushings. It gets rid of any kind of yaw. And so anyway, flippers are done. I think the only thing I've got left on this game is just swap out the rubbers. And I asked him if he wanted to get all of them or just kind of the easy ones. And actually I believe somebody swapped out the rubbers on most of this game already. I mean, clearly they got some clear rubbers on here, and these are kind of dirty and tired looking. Definitely get those. But I think somebody has redone the rubbers on this whole entire game because they're not really bad. Because I was like, do you want me to get this, like those rubbers way back up in there? I mean, I can do it, but that's a fair amount of labor to get to that one. Is likewise this one here. It's actually, that rubber, I'm feeling it, it's nice and pliable. So he just said, you know, the ones that you think. And, well, I think not many of them are very bad. And there's actually not very many rubbers. There's some posts, but most of them are easy to get to. Like, I noted a couple like that one for whatever reason. That one's kind of crusty, and that one's kind of crusty. But most of them have been swapped out. So I got this thing cleaned and waxed, and it was really pretty clean, so there wasn't much to clean off. But just trying a couple different rubbers. I think I kind of like the black. I've got some other ones, and you know, I think the black works because it's yellow mostly. That's the main thing. Yellow and blue and black. Black's the accent color, especially with all the mods, because the mods are all black. So I think the black works. The blue gets lost behind the blue behind it, so kind of doesn't work. I think I'm gonna just go with black. It's boring. No, it's not boring. It's good accent. I'll pull that sticker off there. I'm gonna have to use two hands. All right, it's time for some gameplay. Get this dude fired up. Okay, it's booted. Yo ho ho ho. Pirates life for me. Hell no. Oh, right up in the hole. Okay. That's the Tortuga multi-ball. You get up in there and you get all those lights red. And there's another one. You fill that thing up with the red lights, then you shoot up there and you get a multi-ball. And if you shoot up there during the multi-ball, you get a multi-ball multiplier. That's the monkey shot. I don't know what it's really called, but after you get up there 4 or 5, after you spot a jack, you get like 10 seconds to hit it again. And that finishes that part of the that mode. That I don't like because I can't. I'm like where I'm standing, I can't see my outlane. I didn't know the nudge or not. Kind of cool looking, but it's kind of in the way. So yeah, you got this compass rose, and you got all these different modes. That Port Royale, I think that one's just. I think that's just pop bumpers. Yeah. So all these different things. You got to sink a ship, jack the monkey, Kraken. You got to shoot the ship a bunch of times, and that opens up, and then the Kraken's exposed, and you shoot up the Kraken's throat several times. So right now, I've got the Tortuga multi-balls ready. So what I'm going to try to do is shoot the ship 2 or 3 times, get it ready, start the ship and/or get Tortuga at the same time, and then get back up at Tortuga, so you can get up to a 4-ball multi-ball. So once you lock your first one in Tortuga, if you shoot another one up in there, it'll kick another ball out. So you can just keep putting balls in there, and every time you do that, you get a playfield multiplier. So now this ball here, if I shoot this one back up there, it's going to kick another ball out for me. So I need to get it up into the Tortuga shot, that left ring. And I didn't hit it. And I didn't hit it again. I'm about out of time. I got maybe one more shot. Oh, got it. Oh, that was the lucky the left one. So it's got the timer up on, I don't know if you guys can see the screen, but it's a 10-second timer. The timer does shut off when you're in like pops and stuff like that. Ah, okay, now they're going to kick out. So I need a couple more shots for my ship. Once the ship starts going back and forth like that, it means it's one more shot will take it out. It's basically about to sink. Well, that was almost there. He didn't quite get the switch.
You can never have too much change.
Okay, there it goes. Now to give me another ball. And that wouldn't be bad to get up in the Tortuga to get the bonus multiplier. Also wouldn't be bad to shoot the Kraken. Oh, double shot. I think it probably on kind of one of those switches because they were like so close together. We're just shaking everything. Okay, got the Tortuga. Got it up in there. Oh, I thought it was going to roll back down. Probably need one more shot for Kraken. I think that got it. I didn't even know if I hit it or not, but I guess I did. Ah! Just drained. Not sure. Yeah, I guess I did get Kraken because... No, I didn't. I can tell I didn't because the light's not turned on. I think I'll try to just light the ship again. Ah, I knew that was going. Did earn an extra ball there.
It's not a bad crew.
If I kill the Kraken, that will also earn an extra ball because that if you do those two lights, it's the west direction, so you get the extra ball there. So I had max jackpot lit. I had the collect crew lit. And these two on the right, the east one, those are the two hard ones, the Heart multi-ball and the Davy Jones defeated. The Davy Jones defeated is basically the last ship, and the ship's going up and down. You have to kill the Kraken with the ship going up and down. It's depending on the settings of the game, it can be kind of hard. I'm going to see if I can kill this Kraken here. So I have to just hit the ship several more times. And so I'm on the second ship, the blinking one. Every time each additional ship that you attack, it takes more shots.
We already killed that thing. 15 dead man's chest.
Okay, he's dead now. So I got that one, so I earned the extra ball. So that, just that shot there, that collected the extra ball. Should have. I guess I shot up there too soon because it didn't give it to me. I'll have to shoot again. So the Tortuga, like the second time you try to do that, it's like you have to hit each one of those little buttons twice instead of once to light a light. So really, I've got everything done but Davy Jones. Davy Jones has just beat that ship and kill ships and kill ships. The Heart Super Jackpot, I'm not doing well enough. This is my last ball. You have to shoot this, open it up, and then you have to start the Heart multi-ball. And during the Heart multi-ball, you have to shoot the ship and spell it Heart again, another 5 shots. It's pretty hard to do, actually. To me, that's the hardest mode on the whole thing. I want my extra ball. Yeah, I probably ought to shoot that. So that finishes my key, so I could start my heart multi-ball. In terms of a strategy getting points, once you do that, it's for sliding these jackpots. So I've got a jackpot lid on Tortuga. So I got that jackpot there. I think I did. Well, I did get my extra ball. No, I didn't. I never got my extra ball. Dang it. Still on the playfield. Shoot. Oh. Or an extra game anyway. Not good it did me. All right. Well, that's that for that. I'll see you on the next one. If you like the videos, click like and subscribe. Cheers.